They were as close to American royalty as you could get. The Kennedys, John and Jackie, Bobby and Ted, they captured the country's attention, inspired generations, and stayed in the American consciousness, both good and bad, for more than half a century. And now, with the passing of patriarch Senator Ted Kennedy, there are fears that Camelot has finally closed for good.
It's hard to say what's going to happen now.
To be sure, there are plenty from the family still serving the public, and it's assumed one of them will step up to run for his spot in the Senate.
Kennedy Jr., Bobby's oldest boy, seek Ted Kennedy's Senate seat in Massachusetts. Will Ted's wife, Vicki Kennedy, seek that seat? There's a lot of talk within the family that those two will vie against each other for that seat.
But while they may fill his chair, it's not clear if they or anyone else could ever fill his shoes.
I have said on numerous occasions, I have described Ted Kennedy as the last lion in the Senate.
There's never been anybody like him in the Senate. He is probably the most effective single senator that our country has ever seen.
His success in politics, like those of his brothers, can be traced back to their father, Joseph Kennedy Sr., who, among other things, served as the U.S. ambassador to the UK.
They're all driven to provide public service, and they like it. They enjoy it.
Their list of accomplishments is a timeline of American history. It was the Kennedys who urged civil rights reforms. Without them, there would be no trip to the moon. And many say without Ted, the life of the average American would be far worse.
If your parents or somebody you know gets benefits from Meals on Wheels, that's Kennedy. If they go to a neighborhood health center, that's Kennedy. He played a leading role in ending the draft. There's been no civil rights bill since he got to the Senate that he hasn't played a significant role on.
But perhaps more than their accomplishments, they may all be remembered best for their tragedies.
An amateur's camera caught the tragic scene.
There was November 22nd, 1963 in Dallas, and June 5th, 1968 in Los Angeles. Teddy himself nearly died in a plane crash in 1964, and the Chappaquiddick incident in 1969 left Mary Jo Kopechne dead and all but killed his hopes for the White House. Other Kennedys couldn't escape the curse. Michael Kennedy died in a skiing accident in 1997. John F. Kennedy Jr. died when his plane crashed in the summer of 1999.
I'm sure if we asked him today, or we asked him when he was alive, I should say, do you believe in a curse, he would say no, because that suggests that there's something supernatural. But if you look at the Kennedy family, even Bob Kennedy once said, somebody up there doesn't like us.
But there were plenty of people who did like them, especially Ted, including many of his political rivals.
I would say in many ways this is the greatest legacy of Ted Kennedy, that he could remain a staunch and steadfast liberal, and yet at the same time work so effectively with Republicans, including conservative Republicans.
Like them or not, agree with them or not, the question still remains who, if anyone, is the torch being passed to next. Matt Friedman, The Associated Press.